All right, today we're going to dive into something pretty fascinating. An economy that's, well, it's everywhere, it's all around us. But for the most part, it's totally invisible to the way we usually measure value. So let me ask you something. When I say the word the economy, what pops into your head? Like, what's the mental picture? Is it, I don't know, a stock market ticker flashing green and red, a busy city streets, a factory? Yeah, for most of us, it's that world. A world of numbers, cash, and markets. And look, we all know the lingo, right? We hear it on the news all the time. Gross domestic product, corporate profits, the job market, stock prices. This is the economy we're taught to see. It's the one that's tangible, you can measure it, and it's all about transactions. But what if that's only part of the story? What if all that stuff, everything we normally call the economy, is really just the tip of a giant iceberg? What if the work that actually holds everything together is happening completely out of sight? Well, that's what we're talking about today, the unseen economy. And look, this isn't some weird fringe idea. It is the bedrock. It's the foundational system of care and trust that makes it possible for the money economy to even exist. Think of it this way. These two economies are running on completely different operating systems. The visible one, it's all transactional. It's price-based. It uses contracts. But the unseen one, that runs on relationships, on trust, on mutual recognition. It's a whole different ballgame. And this isn't some abstract theory, right? This is your actual life. It's caring for kids, it's mentoring someone new at work, it's cooking a meal for a friend who's going through a tough time. It's that emotional support you give or get, maintaining shared spaces, passing on what you know. None of that stuff gets counted in the GDP. But let's be real, if all of that just stopped tomorrow, the entire visible economy would completely seize up. So you see, this isn't just a bunch of random acts of kindness. This is a real, functioning economy. It's a whole system of exchange that's working all the time. It just happens to operate with a different set of rules. Okay, so this brings us to a huge, glaring paradox. If this work is so absolutely critical, the foundation of everything, why is it totally invisible to economists? Why does it get zero official recognition? And here's the answer, and it's so important. Money doesn't ignore this work because it's unimportant. No way. It ignores it because money is just a really, really bad tool for measuring it. It can't easily capture it and slap a price tag on it. So the problem isn't the work, it's the ruler we're trying to use. Let's zero in on care work, because it's a perfect example. The value there is in presence, attention, being responsive. And so much of its value is preventative, right? Good care means the crisis doesn't happen. But how do you put a price on a disaster that you successfully avoided? You can't. And because you can't, the work that did all the heavy lifting just vanishes from the ledger. So what's the result? Well, when we can't put a price tag on something, we just invent labels to shove it outside the real economy. We call it voluntary or natural or informal. And by doing that, we make its invisibility structural. It's not an accident. It's baked right into the system. Okay, so if our main tool, money, is the problem because it's basically blind to this stuff, what's the solution? How can we actually acknowledge all this essential work without trying to jam a price tag onto it where it doesn't fit? Well, one really interesting answer comes from something called the Community Exchange System, or CES for short. It's what's known as a mutual credit system, and it's basically designed to tackle this exact problem of invisibility. So how does it work? It's actually way simpler than it sounds. Basically, members just list what they can offer, their skills, maybe some care, or just general help. Could be an hour of tutoring, some help in the garden, or even offering to be a good listener. Suddenly, all these offerings are visible to the whole community. People can make exchanges, and here's the key part. The contribution is acknowledged right there in the system. And this all happens without a single dollar ever changing hands. Now, this is super important. A system like CS doesn't create the unseen economy. That economy is already there. It's been humming along in the background this whole time. All CS does is act like a lens. It just makes it visible. It reveals it. And once we start to see this bigger picture, the payoff is huge. It goes way beyond just tracking who did what. We shift from trying to measure everything to simply recognizing it. And that right there is where the real power is. When we recognize all this work, incredible things start to happen. It actually starts to reverse the erosion of our social fabric. It makes it normal to ask for and receive help.
It encourages a collective sense of reciprocity, not just a transactional one. It strengthens trust. It builds connection. It makes our communities stronger.
If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Recognition matters so much more than measurement. We don't need to slap a price tag on everything to prove it has value. We just need to see it. Acknowledging it is way more powerful. And look, this isn't an argument to get rid of money. Not at all. It's about complementing it. Money does what it does pretty well, but it's blind to so much of what matters. Mutual credit systems, they make room for everything that money can't see. The care, the trust, that shared sense of responsibility we have for each other.
So I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Just think about your own life, your family, your friends, your neighborhood. How much of the most important work, the work that really sustains you and the people you care about, how much of that is actually part of this huge, unseen economy?